Hello, everyone. Gen X Man here. We're back with another Solo Play Sunday. And today we will not actually be showing any actual solo play. Actually, this is more like the old lady had a brilliant suggestion. I was like, what should I do for Sunday? What should I play? Da 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 da. And she had mentioned, hey, weren't you going to do, kind of an intro, getting your feet wet kind of thing like you did for your Tabletop Tuesday? I was like, oh, you're right. You're right. That's exactly. Yeah. So now she says it was my idea, but we all know the truth because she's smarter than me. But anyway, so how does somebody get started playing solo RPG? For myself, and I'm sure my situation and my story were not unique, it was a matter of necessity. I had been introduced to RPGs by my cousin. He corrupted me at the tender age of 8 with D&D Red Box set, and it was all over from then. So I got the bug, and I was just like, this is everything that I want. I want to play this. I want to play it all the time. But I lived on a farm in rural West Virginia out in the middle of nowhere. There were no neighbors. There were no, friends didn't come visit. None of that. It was me, myself, and that's it. So, necessity is the mother of invention. I was absolutely desperate to play these awesome, cool role-playing games, especially when you got the D&D cartoon comes out, and I'm like, oh, I want to be like that. I want to play those stories and such. And so you figure it out. And I figured out that you absolutely can play solo. There is absolutely no barrier to it. There's more work in it. There's absolutely more work. And that's probably the most daunting thing. Although in this day and age, I would actually argue there's another thing daunting is that there's too much information. There is just, so much noise, which the whole purpose of this video is to cut through the noise. So, without further ado, uh, if you're wanting to start solo play, and I'm assuming, maybe this is your first experience RPGing like I was, like somebody introduced you and you want to play more, but there's nobody to play. So you're saying, oh, well, what game should I play? What system should I use? It doesn't matter. It does not matter. You can adapt any system that I know of to solo play. It just takes some suspension of belief between you running the player characters and you being the DM. And separate those things. And beyond that, you're good to go. Now, that being said, there are games out there specifically designed for solo play, and I am not going to, waste the precious time of this video going over the plethora of options out there. A quick search will lead you down a rabbit hole, and you'll be gone for hours. So, if you want a system specifically created for solo play, there's tons of research to do there, and I may do a video later on for that. We'll see. I myself never used any system that was only for solo play. I used AD&D, 2E to be specific, some 1E, but mostly 2E. I used Marvel Superheroes Phase Rip system. I used Weston Games. I used, just on and on and on. Anything that caught my interest, I would play by myself. So your next question might be like, okay, I figured out a system I want to play. What do I need as far as outside of, the gaming material? And let's assume you've got, whatever the core books are you need to run the game. Uh, Obviously, you'll need your dice, and that's going to depend on the system. Typically you're going to want your usual spread of dice, the 4, the 6, the 8, the 12, two tens, 20, and so on and so forth. Some systems, like the new Decipher, no, not Decipher, Fantasy Flight, something like that. Whatever the new system is for Star Wars, they've got their own dice, and they're really cool looking, and it's really fun. So some systems will need their own dice, and a lot of people. This was a funny thing when I was doing research for this, everybody was just talking about like, what do you put in your solo journal? And I was like, journal? What are you talking about? Because, of course, I grew up without the benefit of the internet and didn't know about journaling such. For me, it was called loose leaf paper. I preferred college rule because I could squeeze more on the page. And I preferred, where it had the 3-hole punch so I could just put it in a binder. And I have tons of those binders around the house of long running, years long RPG campaigns that I have written down what happens and how it happens and so on and so forth. And I get really into the details when I solo RPG a lot of the time because I enjoy that. So you're gonna have, binders that thick. So again, to recap that, you're going to need the essential books to play with, you're going to need your dice, and you're going to need some paper to write stuff down, obviously pencil and so on and so forth. I'm not going to I'm not going to insult your intelligence by saying, the basics. Now, the pros of solo RPing are many and varied. For instance, you control your time. You can play as long as short or as you like. Scheduling is a non-issue. You can play whatever you want, whenever you want. If you want to stop this campaign where you're at and say, "Oh, I want to play this for 5 minutes," you go do that. Non-issue. Some gaming groups are like that, but solo play is even more like that. And you control the narrative. I mean, as anybody who has DM'd will say, "Oh, I sat down and I made this epic campaign, and and I introduced the characters to it, and they went straight for the cat house." And you're like, "Yep, yep, that's yeah." The thing I learned with DMing is make a flight plan. The players are going to do what players do. They're not going to be led around, carrot on a stick. Just you just roll with it. But the con and that's a pro of solo RP is that you can keep the narrative on the focus on the path that you want it to. The cons are that well, you have to buy everything yourself. Like it's you foot the bill for everything. Nobody's sharing anything. It's all on you. And also, a con could be that you control the narrative. I mean, sometimes you're going to have that creeping feeling like this is not really random and that it's corrupted somehow because you control everything. And it's hogwash. I mean, in the beginning, you're going to be figuring stuff out. You're going to make decisions that aren't optimal, but so what? Nothing's ever perfect. Stop striving for perfection. We're human beings. We're imperfect. The things we create are imperfect. Did you enjoy yourself? Did you have a good time? Did you make some memories? Congratulations, you did it right. So, I mean, don't get that's probably the hardest thing as we slip into the conclusion of this video. The hardest things are actually two things. Getting started, taking the plunge, setting down your stuff and you got your paper and your dice and everything ready to go and actually just dive in there and start rolling. Don't worry about the beginning being perfect. Don't worry about everything going exactly to plan. That's the fun of the dice. The dice add the randomization that makes the story so much more interesting. It's the curveball that always makes the narrative go boom. And I mean, people may be asking, like, well, are there resources out there that could help? Actually, I don't know everyone who does the solo RP thing on YouTube, but there's a couple people I watch. I watch Trevor Duvall on Me, Myself, and Die. He is, he's kind of what I'm aspiring to be with the solo play Sunday. I want to be that good. I want to do the voice. I want to commit to the voices. I want to become more relaxed and confident and just really put on a performance for your all. Really entertain. I'm really shooting for that level of entertainment. So he's definitely the first one that comes to mind. Also, Geek Gamers. I just discovered them today. They're really fun. So there's that too. Beyond that, though, I mean, a quick search will show you 873 possible suggestions. So just dive in. Oh, and real quick, the second thing I was going to say there's things that are difficult to overcome. The second thing is keep going. And that just amounts to, oh God, I really want a game, but get rid of the but. I really want a game, sit down and game. As long as, there's the pots aren't on fire or anything, sit down and game. Just set aside a little bit of time for yourself and game and have fun and enjoy it and journal it, as they say these days. So you can look back and reread it when you're older and just be like, oh, I remember this was so much fun. And that is the point. That's the whole point of all this. But anyway, that's all I've got on that topic. I hope this really quick little video will help some folks out there, just as my Tabletop Tuesday video help people getting started in D&D. Again, it's mainly for people who are fresh or freshish, so. And if you have any questions, feel free to message me or put a comment down there. I check comments all the time. Anyway, I hope you have happy gaming and enjoy yourself and get out there, roll some dice. Have a good one.